At a typical science fair, you expect a baking soda volcano, but in this classroom, you'll find a glowing, three-dimensional figure hovering in midair. That floating image is a 3D projection of a traditional Indonesian shadow puppet, a Wayang Kulit, and it was engineered entirely by fourth graders. This is happening in Yogyakarta, a city where centuries-old traditions operate alongside rapidly modernizing technology. The engineering behind this projection is part of a new educational initiative designed to reconcile Indonesia's traditional identity with modern technological instruction. As the global economy demands 21st-century tech skills, schools are rushing to adopt coding and robotics. But to do so, they often import standardized foreign curricula that leave the students' own cultural heritage behind. To counter this, educators in Indonesia developed Ethno-STEM, a framework integrated directly into their new national Merdeka curriculum. This academic journal page details the specific e-module researchers deployed. It challenged 10-year-old students to digitize their local heritage to improve their creative thinking abilities. To keep a 1,000-year-old storytelling tradition alive in the digital age, these young students had to master physics and programming logic well beyond their grade level. The curriculum starts with the concept of energy transformation. In traditional wayang, a puppeteer blocks a direct light source with a physical puppet to cast a hard, black shadow on a screen. Projecting a hologram requires the exact opposite approach. Instead of blocking light rays to create a shadow, you have to bend light rays through a transparent medium. To achieve this, the students learned how light emitted from a flat screen refracts. By bouncing that light off a transparent plane tilted at exactly 45 degrees, they created the illusion of a three-dimensional avatar floating in space. Building this optical illusion required the kids to calculate specific angles of refraction, turning an abstract physics lesson into a tangible tool. But projecting an image requires a digital model. For centuries, master artisans have spent weeks meticulously carving intricate mythological figures into white leather. The students translated those physical carvings into digital space. They used coordinate graphing and 3D modeling software to map out complex geometries of the figures. Once the polygons locked into place, they wrote foundational code to assign anchor points to the puppet's joints, scripting its precise movements for the performance. The software does not replace the local tradition. Instead, the code acts as a new preservation medium for ancient narratives. Digital code still needs physical architecture to catch the light, which introduces the engineering design process. The fourth graders sourced accessible plastics to build their own refraction pyramids, measuring and cutting the casing by hand. They immediately had to troubleshoot. If the angle was off or the brightness dipped, the projection blurred. They tested and adjusted iteratively. This physical construction served as a strict test of their theories. If their math and optics calculations were wrong, the illusion simply failed. Because this curriculum relies on project-based learning, the final exam is a vibrant school bazaar called Market Day. The students transition from engineers to entrepreneurs, setting up booths to pitch the mechanics of their holographic shows to their peers and parents. They explain their technical troubleshooting to a live audience, making science communication a real-world community exchange. This entire project was designed to achieve the Pancakala student profile, the ultimate competency goal of the Indonesian curriculum. This research paper evaluates that profile's implementation, showing how integrating local wisdom into technical projects generates measurable growth in critical thinking, collaboration, and independence. The researchers found that when students see their cultural identity reflected in technical subjects, they show significant gains in creative thinking and classroom participation. By grounding complex physics in the stories they grew up with, Ethno-STEM takes students out of the role of passive technology consumers and turns them into culturally rooted innovators.